Okay, my friends, Donald Trump is now our president. He's forcefully engaging with the things that he feels need to be addressed. One of them is schooling and education. And his whole crew agree that academia now is a controller of the minds of students, and it's an echo chamber. And if you don't say what you're told to say, they will destroy your life and keep your money. Now let's see what Donald Trump has to say, because he can save you some money and have your kids get a good education. I'm telling you, I was a little on edge about him in the beginning, but now I'm sort of coming around to his way. There's going to be things I'm going to disagree with, yes, and I'm certainly going to speak about them. But this is something I definitely agree with and needs to be done immediately, and this will be a huge, huge improvement to humanity, not just to the American people, but humanity in general. Okay, my friends, before we get started, I'm going to ask you to give me a thumbs up and share this. And if you're unhappy when you see what I present, thumb me down. I don't care how you feel about Donald Trump. This could be the most important time in human history for the United States, for sure, because he wants to change the way the kids are indoctrinated. Okay, this is Trump speaking about homeschooling.
As president, it was my honor to support America's homeschool families and to protect the God-given right of every parent to be the steward of their children's education. Since the China virus, America has seen an estimated 30% increase in homeschool enrollment. When I'm reelected, I will do everything I can to support parents who make the courageous choice of homeschool. Under the Trump tax cuts, we allowed families to use 529 education savings accounts to spend up to $10,000 a year tax-free on tuition for grades K through 12. This was a tremendous win for school choice, very important, school choice, remember that term. And yet that benefit did not apply to homeschoolers. So to support the growing homeschool movement, in my next term, I will immediately fight to allow homeschool parents the same incredible benefit, $10,000 a year per child, completely tax-free to spend on costs associated with homeschool education. I will also work to ensure that every homeschool family is entitled to full access to the benefits available to non-homeschool students, including participating in athletic programs, clubs, after-school activities, educational trips, and more.
This is very encouraging. We need homeschooling. Right now, when you send your kids to school, if they don't repeat what they're told to say, then they will destroy their lives. Literally, they will fail them and say that they can't learn, they couldn't repeat what they were told to say, they questioned what they were told to say, and therefore they're not intelligent. This all started because nobody would pay attention to the giant creatures that I found. This right here is the attachment of the muscle that lets your hair go up and down. This is the shaft coming out the top. This is the sebaceous gland right here. This is the root of a gigantic hair follicle. And that little dot there and that dot there are the papilla, which is the vein and artery, blue and red. This is 2 inches wide. There is no creature today that has a 2-inch wide hair follicle. This is Mudfossils. This is where it comes up, and this is a flat-sided hair. So they say that's a curly-haired person. Now, this is completely transitioned in the Mudfossil process. Now, this is right from my property where I also have other giant creatures, and I actually had them DNA tested. This right here is a giant human fingertip. And it is human because it's been DNA tested. I'll show you the DNA test. I saw it and I said, holy smokes, that looks like a fingertip. And because there was a little crease, it ran around here, and I could see the fingernail. You see it? It's a little eroded there, but not much. You know, in the right light, you would see it better. Now, so I said, wow. And this right here is the little cartilage pad behind fingers and toes and so forth, so they don't scrub bone to bone. That's the vein and the artery that come in and come back. This is called the digital terminus. Artery comes in, vein comes back. Anyway, it's a fingertip, and it's 3 feet long, back to front. So what I had to do to get any blood out of here was to break off a piece to get down inside. You can't get blood off the surface. I never took anything off the surface of anything. All right, so that's that fingertip. Now, what did I break off? I broke off the fingerprints. You see that little dot and that little dot? And there's sweat pores. You see them, sweat pores? And this piece is just about that thick, and it's just skin, which is this stuff right here. There is no blood in it to speak of. However, when I did break this off, I got a little piece down here. But inside, it was just saturated with blood. So I took out a sample very carefully, clean, no interference by me whatsoever. And I sent that sample off in addition to, which this is 3 feet long. These are fingerprints. My thumb is the same width as one fingerprint ridge. And it's DNA tested. And here's the DNA test. Right here, I had 3 of them done. And that was the 36-inch tip. I had 3 Mudfossil samples done. The 36-inch tip came back excellent quality DNA. It was just like raw blood. The lung came back excellent quality DNA. The mud tip was more transitioned, so it wasn't perfect, but it still came back good. And this was a very serious test. This was done in 2015. So this is 10 years ago. And it came down, this is a very good test. And they're here, they can be tested again. Excellent quality DNA from the 36-inch tip and the lung, which is also human. Homo sapien mitochondrial, cytochrome B, and D loop. Now, mitochondrial DNA is not human DNA, but it is inside of human cells. Mitochondria has its own DNA. Another thing we have to look into. But the DNA that was associated with it had 80 to 100 base pairs, and when those match, you're human. That was in a human. That's just a fact. This is a PCR. This is top end stuff. Okay, so homeschooling is about learning literally everything. I don't care what you want to learn. You should be able to learn it in an open forum and make your own decision. You don't have to accept what is forced on you and then be graded on if you can repeat it. That is the echo chamber that we live in right now, and they will destroy your life if you don't repeat what you're told to say. So it becomes a non-learning experience. It's just a repeating experience. Now, and in addition to that, if you speak about God or Jesus Christ or any religious type of discussion, you are literally destroyed. And you could say, oh, no, they let you talk about that. No, they may let you speak about it, but trust me, in the background, fail this guy. He's a religious wacko. They don't understand God. They don't understand where we came from. They think it's all come from slime that came from a big bang of nothing into everything. These are the things to be discussed. I can't tell you where we came from, but I can tell you what. I now, from my research, believe that everything is biological. Nothing came from slime. And I am going to show you that in their latest research they did in space with asteroid Bennu. They picked up a sample, brought it back to Earth, and they cannot accept the reality of their research. And that is our government doing this to us. You know, I'll tell you, I haven't been this excited for many years. Let's start off with the worst problem we have right now, where we could save billions and billions of dollars. This is asteroid Bennu. You see these here? They went up and took a sample of this and brought it back to Earth. Now, I'll show you what it is. This is a sample they took off. Now, I just showed you the actual asteroid. They went in and it went deep inside through all kinds of little dusty stuff and went inside and grabbed this chunk and brought it back to Earth. And when they got it, they said, wow, look at this, these white things, that's phosphates. And they, in a certain light, they show real bright like that. And they said, wow, we never expected this. This is that. This is in the small little piece of this. Here's the layer right here, which is the phosphate surprise. Never realized this little white layer was here. And in between, you have these little blocky things. So you have this layer, the blocky things, then you have another layer, and then more of the blocky things. And they look at it, and they did the tests on it, and it's got moisture in it, and it's got all the same biological things that we have in our body, amino acids, which are very complicated. They're not little just scraps of something laying around. This was biological. Now, why do I say that for certainty? Because that, my friends, is heart muscle. Now this is heart muscle, and it's really heart muscle because it's from a heart attack victim here on Earth. These are what's called sarcomeres. These are phosphates, the layers in between, so the muscle can do this and move around, and it's like a layer of slippery stuff. Slurpees, small leucine-rich proteins, a lot of phosphates. And then you have the muscle. It contracts, relaxes, contracts, and it really twists, your heart twists. There's a lot to learn. I have so many people every day that say, oh, I've learned so much watching your channel, and that's what I want. And I don't want any money for this. I don't want any money at all. I'd like to help Trump. And so, you know, I already have the Mudfossil University, and as far as I'm concerned, it's the best school there is, because it examines everything, and with a critical, factual eye. None of this stuff that, oh, this doesn't exist, this is all CGI, this is all so forth. No, we examine it, and we make a decision, or you make your own decision. I couldn't care less, to be perfectly honest with you. But we have to look at physical evidence. That is physical, and it's in our own hands. In our government, they have that same muscle sarcomeres here, with the same phosphate layers here. And this cost us way over $1 billion. And they went to a heart, which is here, and this is what hearts look like. That's what they look like, just like that. Just like this. You know what this is? That's Psyche. It's another heart in space. This puppy is gigantic. It's 140 miles across, and that is a heart. I don't care what anybody says. I'm done playing games with these academics. They don't realize that the ancient texts were quite factual, and my evidence was giant human beings, which I have here. This is a hair follicle. That is a hair follicle. And this, I have DNA tested, CAT scan stuff all over. And it is refused by academia because it destroys their fraudulent lies at this point. It's just nothing but lies. This has been going on for 10 years. I reported all this stuff 10 years ago, well, about venue, no, this is different. But about my other stuff here, which is the light research, we'll go in a second, and the mud fossils, which are the giant human beings. Even new species. I showed all this stuff. I've been showing this stuff to everybody. It's not allowed. They will not. I'm shut down everywhere. I'm blocked right across the board about my light research, which I showed. This is how bad things are. This is why I'm so excited. So I'll try to calm down, but it's going to be hard because this is the day I've been waiting for. Somebody like Trump to come along and say, this is enough. That's enough. Enough, enough, enough. Okay, my friends, this I discovered with another guy, Rodney Warren from Australia, over 10 years ago. Very simple, and Rodney was displaying some of these shots like this right here. When I saw this, I knew what he did. He accelerated light. And I got a hold of him. I said, what did you do? And he explained the process to me, which I will explain to you, and I'm going to do it in great detail shortly because it's very, very simple. But this is the acceleration of a light wave. That, to me, there's just no question. That's acceleration. Now, these are the same particles that we found using light. That's a photon. That is an electron neutrino, which they were spending billions of our dollars trying to find. This was 10 years ago. I got a hold of, well, it was Don Lincoln at Fermilab, and he told me I was a tinfoil hat guy and never contact them again, and they blocked me. And this is light, and that's the dark particle right there. That's the muon. And that is dark matter, and it is gravity. It sucks the white parts down. There's only the smallest particles that exist are these two, and they are literally always glued together unless you can do what we did, which was to separate them using the Venturi. We separated the black and let the white go through, but the black couldn't get through because it's a fixed particle, just like Don Lincoln said. He says this one size fits all, it's never going to change. I don't care what photon it is, whether it's green or blue or red, it's the same size particle, just more energy on this one. And this is the red, which is the lowest energy of laser that we use, pulsed laser. And this is flowing through the air and hitting the particles that are in the air. These are other little molecules that have fields. They got to push them out of the way. That's what creates this glow. And this is the acceleration. And not only did we do this and create raw electric energy, that is raw energy. You could put that in a car and drive it all day long. Has no weight whatsoever. And the black part has all the weight and cannot get through. This is fission. That's fusion when they come back together. This is not atomic fusion where you create big molecules. No. This is subatomic fusion. And that is a subatomic explosion, which is fission. And that is subatomic fusion. And that is raw electricity. We should be able to harvest it right there and run your car all day long, never stop. Do a house, do everything. It should be raw, free energy. 10 years ago, I presented this to Fermilab, and I'm still blocked to this very day and insulted too. Okay, my friends, I'm going to sort of wrap it up in a few minutes here, but this is what we should be able to do, is take that laser, send these black and white particles, as I showed you, are all glued together, and that's what they call them, gluons, and the gluons glue together to make photons. And those photons have become split at the Venturi right there. The black stays back here. The white comes through. Well, the white desperate to get back to that black. So you pump it down into a storage device or straight into the grid or wherever you want. These you can carry around in a little lunchbox like this. Plug anything you want into it. Regulate whatever you want. 50, 60 cycles, 120 volts, AC, DC, USB, whatever. And you just carry it around, and you just never have to do anything to it. It's just recycling electrons. These particles, these white ones, have no weight whatsoever. When you fill your car up, if you have an electric car and weighs 4,000 pounds, you fill it up with electricity, it weighs 4,000 pounds. Drive 500 miles, still weighs 4,000 pounds. You come back, you fill it all up with electricity, still weighs 4,000 pounds. That white particle right there has zero weight. It's got to have something, but it's so small, it's infinitesimally small. They really can't find it. But they can't find the dark matter. There's the dark matter. It's inside. In other words, whenever you look at a molecule, which is the standard thing that we look at, is molecules and, atoms. You don't normally get below the atom stage until you have an atom smasher. And most people don't have those. We have a light smasher, a simple Venturi. This is the most simple device you could ever imagine. 10 years now. Blocked by our own government. It's just amazing. And all the dark matter is pushed to the center. That's where the dark matter is going to be. Because those particles, which I showed you before, can separate. And we did separate them. This is what they normally look like. You see that? That's what a normal photon looks like. That's red. And as it comes, you see the white part is in the back here. Now the white part is in the front. They charge and spin. And the green does the same thing, exact same particle. Here's the green. Same thing. And this one's just getting ready to charge up to spin. See the front, the white, the front is still the white. It's going to flip though, because the white is getting very bright on this, and it's black because of the black on the top. It's the interaction of the white against other white particles. And everything has white particles. There's nothing. Every gas, every atom, when I say gas, I mean, gaseous, oxygen, helium, anything. Everything has these white particles coating them. But behind them is the black. That's why we've never found the black particles. Light is nothing more than dark energy on its way from the sun to the earth. I did a video on it 10 years ago. And again, blocked by our own government, still blocked to this very day. And everything else I presented about the Mudfossils changes everything in our history. So they have come against me with the guns blazing. At one time, I used to look up, I don't want to get too deep in the mud here. You have to think for yourself. This is nonsense now. Education has become indoctrination. You do it or to destroy your life. That I just can't even imagine. I'm so infuriated now. I have to be perfectly honest with you. This is as simple as it can possibly be. This is the most simple thing there is. And they make it into some big thing with a bunch of little squiggly lines. I did all the squiggly lines. They mean nothing. What you need to do is look at this and then look at what they have to say. Then you make your own decision. Yale comes on and says, nobody understands quantum, so just go back and just say what I told you to say and everybody will think you're smart. Okay, what I have just shown you about the heart in space and everything in space that I can find, Comet 67P is a hip, Oumuamua is a finger. There's nothing but biology everywhere. I can't find anything but biology. Mars is saturated with biology. There is sarcomeres like this all over the place up on Mars, and they have eroded, and you see these little blocks of stripes. I'll probably show you that in a second. All of this stuff, I have evidence to support every word I'm saying, and it's refused. We even have pictures showing the fields in space. This was just taken with a cell phone with a little app on it that picks up on these fields. Look at the things that are out there. Nobody's talking about this. And they say light goes through there, never stops, there's a total vacuum. Absolute nonsense. What we need to do is to get some reality. And this is NASA and our top scientists. We're spending billions of dollars on web. It does absolutely nothing. It takes pictures. That's all it does. You can't, no way in the world could you tell how far something is away. There's dense space here. There's, there's open, more open, but there's no place that is void of particles. And even Fermilab says that. They say it's a quantum soup. And Yale, the only person I found at Yale that I feel confident is being honest is Professor Shankar. But listen to what he has to say about quantum. Okay, my friends, we're going to see Professor Shankar in a second here, but this was my theory over 50 years ago. Two types of molecules, that's all there is. Dipoles. There's dipoles, one of them's a polar, one of them's a non-polar, but they are particles that are from, the transfer of energy is from light to atomic vapor. That's the range I worked in, is light. But I did everything. I did all of the different types of chemistry and thermodynamics and the construction of particles and the bonding and valence and this and that and la 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 la. I did it all, so I have nothing to apologize for. I could certainly speak in this realm as much as anybody else. So at this point, he realizes they don't know anything. And he's a good guy. I like this guy. He's honest. He says today they're going to start into quantum mechanics.
Today we're going to start quantum mechanics, and that's all we'll do till the end of the term. Now, I got bad news and good news. The bad news is that it's a subject that's kind of hard to follow intuitively, and the good news is that nobody can follow it intuitively. Richard Feynman, one of the big figures in physics, used to say no one understands quantum mechanics. So in some sense the pressure is off for you guys, because I don't get it and you don't get it and Feynman doesn't get it. The point is, here's my goal. Right now I am the only one who doesn't understand quantum mechanics. In about 7 days all of you will be unable to understand quantum mechanics. Then you can go back and spread your ignorance everywhere else. That's the only legacy a teacher can want. So,
you know, it's a tragedy, but it's true. Because he's going to tell them, here's what you have to say to become smart. I mean, nobody understands it, so you just say what I say, and everybody will think you're smart. And he's a good guy. I like that guy. You know, he wasn't teaching anything that had any meaning, but he was, you know, he was nice. He realized he didn't know what he was talking about. See, this just came in a couple of minutes ago. Scientists uncover mysterious nuclear bump challenges current physics models. Everything now, every day I read, we just saw light go this way and that way at the same time, so we can go back in time. No, they can't. Light is just bouncing, and the rest of it's going forward. Simple as that. And then they say all the mass goes in one direction, but light can go in the other direction, which is just energy, has no mass. Well, that's because the black particles push the white. I've shown this so clearly, it's just unbelievable. And this kind of stuff, they have no clue about any of this stuff. It's unbelievable who we have in charge running our lives. Hold on one second. I'll show you the black pushes the white. But you can see we're accelerating. Well, hold on one second. All right, it's very, very simple. That particle has fields surrounding it. This is exactly what it would look like. You see the black and the white, black and white? That's an electron. That's an electron. Dipoles. Black and white makes the dipole. They have fields surrounding them. As this is going up that way, and you see the bottom white is charging up. It's getting much more brilliant than it is here. The one in the back, behind the black, won't charge up because it's being not concussing. This one's concussing. The field is huge. The particle's here, but the field's just gigantic. So it has to push through everybody else and get them out of the way. This will begin to charge up because it will begin to glow and glow and glow, and then it will flip. Then this white one will come in front and bang in and glow, and then it'll flip. They flip, flip, flip. They call it the muon wobble. This is what a photon looks like. This is the field, which it appears to have almost like a film or something. It just has almost or no weight at all. But it's just a field that grows as it gets concussed. It grows. It doesn't get smaller. It grows. Between the two of them hitting together, it just gets enormous. Let me show you the concussion between the fields. It's called the Casimir effect. And it's a very, very strong effect. Whites oppose each other just unbelievably. The black particles, they don't care. They want to be attached to the white, but they don't care about being attached to each other. That's fine with that. The white ones, they stay away from each other, and that's what creates these, what they call interference patterns. It's not interference, it's repulsion. This is how elegant light is. It spins just like that. The particle is at the tip of a spinning thing like this. Zip. See how this is a drill bit? It just goes around this way and over that way sometimes, and sometimes over this way. But when it gets through the Venturi, they say, you stay away from me, I'll stay away from you. You stay away, I'll stay away. And they set up these elegant patterns, which they call them interference patterns. They say it goes this way and flaps this way. No, it's obviously spinning in a circle. So much is unknown now. It's a fabulous time for students to start to understand. Look at what they have to say. I'm not saying don't look at it. Look at it. Understand what I'm saying and what they're saying. You make your own decision. All right, this is coming through the air. This is the beginning of a light wave coming through the air. This is picked up right at the beginning as it's accelerating. And this is where the particle is, but it has a field around it, and it's forcing all these other fields to get out of the way. So, and it's pulse, 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 and it's coming through the air. Now, you can see the size of this wave. Well, it's obviously accelerating when it does this. That's the wave back here beginning to accelerate. We were back here somewhere. Now you can see it's pulling the particle right out of the wave and explodes here, and you get fission and fusion. And this is 100% pure white. There is no black being allowed through here. The black does rejoin here because there's extra black particles laying around all over the place, it appears to me. Because I don't think these black ones jumped over ahead to catch up with these. That's the other thing. Entanglement just is very, very silly. Entanglement is just a black attached to the white. They break apart, they come back together. There's no going over one side of the universe and the other side and they're still attached. That's complete nonsense. These are the kind of things they do just to get funding. If they, oh, we did this, oh, we figured this out. No, they didn't figure anything out. They won't look at what's in front of their faces. That's the problem with scientists today. It's unbelievable. Now, this one had just nothing but white coming through. This, I can show the black coming through at the same time as the white, but not in the same ratio. The white will virtually squirt through there. There's not enough of an opposition to it. But the black stacks up a little bit. It's like clogging in a filter. And the white shoots out in front of the black, and the black pushes the white. And there's some very, very interesting patterns to take into account here, which is these are called Whistler waves. You have to look that up. You see the distance between them, and there is no black particle here. This is pure energy transfer. This is the energy, but it's propagating new energy in front of it without its partner, the black. This time, the black is pushing the white. You see the size of these. These are Whistler. These are in the audible range. These are in the above audible range. You see how tight they are. And, this is, it needs a lot of research in it. But if we could do this and get free energy, that would be pretty nice. Maybe save the world. Make it a little more livable. You see this? This is not my picture, my drawings. They're talking about Cherenkov radiation, where you have the muon and the electron neutrinos, which is what they've been searching for forever, attached together, and they divide and become a sterile muon and electron showers. If you can create electron showers, you can create, they claim, up to trillions of electron volts from a source of millions. The increase in energy is staggering. And we did it right here. We kept the muons sterile, and the white went into electron shower mode. That's exactly what we need to do and collect the energy there. Hopefully Donald Trump will see this. Somebody's got to stand up for the American people. It's just a boondoggle. And this is Fermilab. And let me show you what they're up to now. Look at this. USCMS collaborators receive approval for massive detector upgrade. This is CERN. Now, this is from Fermilab. I went to the University of Geneva online, and I discussed my research with the professors there. And originally they just, oh, that guy's crazy, he's an idiot, da da da. You can't see photons. I said, yes, we can see photons with CMOS. All right, CMOS, well, let me just show you this first, and I'm going to tell you about what CMOS is. Because CMOS is made to see light. It's not made to see gigantic chunks like this. It destroys it, yes. So what did they have to do? They had to engineer CMOS that would filter all that out until they got down to the little particles. We started with these little particles, so we didn't have to worry about damaging our CMOS. They finally came around and accepted it. And now they upgraded CERN. They had upgraded, it's all done, so that they can see the CMOS. But now they want to spend billions and billions of dollars more. Look at this. See, very upsetting. High luminosity era. That's just what I just showed you. High luminosity, the glow, that huge glow. We created a subatomic nuclear explosion. You want to see it? This is a subatomic nuclear explosion. These are the nuclear particles which exist inside the nucleus of an atom. This would be the atom. All right, so let's say it's a hydrogen. It's got 1,840 of these dipoles. They're little tiny magnets. They all add together. But what happens is the black is pushed to the center. So all we have is a white on the outside. When it hit this bang here, the white just squirts right away because it has no mass. There's just no mass to it. It's nothing but energy. It's just a phenomenal thing. But we did exactly what they wanted to do to create this particle physics showers. These are electron showers and a staggering amount of energy. And you could carry that around in a lunchbox. I want to see our government look into this. At least Elon Musk. Massive detector upgrade. This just came out a year ago, and I've been after them, and I'm blocked. I can't comment anymore to those. I was on the other day. It's just so frustrating. I'm sorry. 200 million DOE funded contribution upgrade CMOS. They already upgraded it for the CMOS, which is what I said. I said you guys got to use CMOS. They were having what they call observer effect. That means when you look at it, it changes. No, it doesn't. You're sampling something out of it, and of course it changes. Or you're pushing light into it to observe it, and of course it receives more energy. So it changes. Simple as that. But CMOS sits out here and waits for the particle to come. It would just go by and go into Never Never Land anyway. So what's the difference? We pick it up on the CMOS, and we can actually see it. It's just amazing. 6,000 scientists, 57 countries. Wow, we got us. Won't talk to Roger. Let's block Roger. Fermilab. I would shut them down in a heartbeat if I was Trump. This is crazy. Absolutely insanity. High luminosity. Exactly what I am showing you. High luminosity. They realized they had to work down in the electron era. They upgraded CERN to do exactly what I told them. Whether I influenced it or not, I believe I did, because they said it's impossible. These particles will destroy CMOS. I said, no, you guys are using protons, not photons. CMOS is designed to accept those high energy particles, but only one at a time. You can't throw that at it, of course. It's like throwing a hand grenade at something. But you throw a BB, and it's a whole different story. You get a little bit of energetic action, but you don't blow the thing into pieces. So they had, well, let me show you. See that here it is right here, CERN, July 2022. This is the upgrade. Development of high voltage CMOS sensors. That's the ones I'm showing. CMOS sensors for future hadron colliders. Well, hadrons, that's just a silly name. Especially in terms of radiation tolerance. They had to upgrade. They spent a ton of money to do this. Tore it all down and put it back together. See, this is right out of the CERN document server. This goes back to 2019. Now, I went to University of Geneva, I don't know, I can't remember. I was 2016, maybe somewhere around there. And here it is right here. The CERN Large Hadron Collider will undergo a major upgrade to increase its instant luminosity, all that glowing stuff, allowing precision measurements of known processes in the search of new physics. CMOS pixel sensors for new trackers. 2 sensors have been produced using a process, CMOS technology, large-scale prototype. Well, what they had to do is radiation harden the CMOS, because they were using big particles like this. Now they're going to go down to using the little particles like this. You can just use a normal commercial CMOS. CMOS means complementary metal oxide silicate semiconductors, which means that different metals can accept different frequencies of radiation, and you can see them, and then they get amplified through the pixels in the CMOS array. All right, so, but what they had to do was radiation harden it. Okay, this is CMOS, radiation hardening, so that they can accept and withstand the high levels of ionization radiation presented in particle accelerator environment. Well, ionization means you're taking a big thing like this and taking a few chunks off it. That is harsh. We started with light, so we started with the tiniest little particles, which are the particles they want to get down to. We started with them. They started with things like this and just made a big pile of debris. You see this? CERN has been actively upgrading many of their detectors, including using CMOS technology in certain projects, because they have gone from these huge things, which you can't tell anything when you break them, because it's just a bunch of debris. They call it a particle zoo, which, yes, it is. They have no idea what they're seeing. We started with the tiniest particles, so we saw, as you saw, exactly what happened. Now, they're going down through all of this, Atlas of CMOS and CMOS detectors. This is the ongoing research into radiation-hard CMOS is aimed at ensuring the detectors continue to function effectively under the harsh conditions inside the LHC. To sum it up, yes, CERN has been incorporating CMOS technology into their detectors, especially in their upgrades for tracking and imaging components, to improve performance, efficiency, and radiation tolerances in their experiments. When they get down to using just the light, and they're still using some of these big things, but now they're going down to the high luminosity, which is light particles. When they use those, they can use pretty much what we use is standard off-the-shelf cell phones. And boy, did they assault me. Fermilab called me a tinfoil hat guy and an embarrassment to science, the gatekeeper there. And I told him, I said, by the time this is done, there'll be a congressional investigation about what you people are doing there. And that was 10 years ago, and he just fluffed it off. And he just laughed at me. So if Trump can do something, boy, I'd like to see that. And I have all the evidence. So it's not hard to understand this. Not hard at all. But it's suppressed, and that's why the homeschooling, absolute essential to stop this nonsense. All it is an echo chamber. Trump is exactly 100% right. And with this all child tax credit and so forth, we could start, daycares for these kids basically, and at the same time teach them. Start our own little schools and have the parents, host them and so forth. There's a lot to do there. Everybody's worried about the kids and somebody's going to exploit them and do this and that. Well, that's the kind of stuff you got to work out. But we got to work to get reality and truth back in education, not just an echo chamber, not where if you don't say what you're told to say, you get failed. That doesn't work. It's just not a good system. It doesn't work. It's exploitive, and it's demeaning, and it destroys the human mind. And most of this is about evolution and about changing the paradigm and their status and their benefits and their funding. It's time we just put a little reality back into it. All right, I love you all. Thank you. This is just crazy. There is just too many coincidences in my life to be coincidental. I took extensive courses at Coursera. I went literally everywhere. University of Geneva, Rice, what's the one? Johns Hopkins, well, everywhere. But you don't have to pay. You didn't have to pay. Now, I think they got a little deal where they're getting a little bit of money, but they have a new CEO. Thrilled to join Coursera as CEO, Greg Hart. Now, I am commenting right now. I decided, well, I'll comment and ask. This will be an interesting time in academia. I used Coursera extensively and very pleased with Coursera. Trump et al., which means all the rest of his buddies, claim academia is now an echo chamber. I do too. And if you don't repeat, you will be failed. Absolutely. So he is proposing homeschooling tax deductions. Is it possible you will have a section for alternative education, like the material evidence presented at Mudfossil University? Peer review has stifled thought, and everything can be tested and validated if examined, but that is not allowed by peer review. All right, so I should put a picture on here too. Okay, my stuff was long ago, but now everybody's coming out with stuff because they've seen these things are real. So now they're saying, oh, now everybody's finding all kinds of things, so they're faking things. Well, my stuff is not fake. It's just a broader impact on paleontology and public trust. They don't trust the paleontologists anymore. Any of these scientists, you shouldn't trust them. Controversy extends beyond the scientific community, potentially affecting public perception of paleontological research, like evolution. It raises questions about the reliability of fossil evidence and the processes by which new species are identified and classified. To maintain trust, transparency in research methods and findings is paramount. The situation also highlights the ongoing challenge of combating fossil fraud. Now they're going to throw it, oh, these are all frauds. In the marketplace, as demand for spectacular specimens grows, because after I showed my stuff, people realized this stuff is real, and they're finding it everywhere. I have 219,000 followers that Every day they're just finding all new stuff. It's unbelievable what has been denied because of the scientific integrity. There's no integrity there. They're talking about fossil frauds. No, it's frauds looking at fossils. As demand for spectacular specimens grows, so does the temptation to fabricate or embellish fossils. This case may serve as a catalyst for developing more robust authentication protocols and fostering greater collaboration between researchers and fossil dealers. What about fossil researchers? We need scientific integrity. We need public trust. We need to reinforce and need vigorous verification. Yes, I have it, and it's refused. I call it PhD-olia. They say all these people are seeing things that's not there. They have pediolia or whatever they call it. Well, I say they have PhD-olia. They're PhDs. They can't see anything right in front of their face. And it's because funding is in the middle of their eyeballs and what's reality. Funding stands there, and status and position and authority. What's behind that stuff? No, I can't see it. That's what a PhD would say. There's nothing there. There's too much clouds, too many clouds. So it's time to remove the clouds and remove the clouders. All right, I love you all. Please, President Trump, help us, my friend. And I will do my best to support you and help you. All right, love you all. Bye.